A family gets the shock of their lives when they move into their new apartment.
They said that it was a great place to live.
The Curry family thought this would be a safe refuge from crime-ridden Atlanta. But death had already made an unexpected visit. The Currys found a trail of red stains on the carpet. They said the landlord told them it was just fruit juice. But those stains tell a scary story.
I squirted the peroxide on the spot, and it started foaming. That was blood.
The Currys' new home was at one time a crime scene.
There was a murder in our apartment.
But whose blood was it?
There was all kind of trails of blood from the front door all the way through the dining room, all the way through the hallway where it stopped in our closet.
And it was in the closet, where years earlier, the bloody body was dumped. The body of 18-year-old Honey Malone.
How's it been for you without her?
It's hard. Because I think about her all the time.
Who killed Honey Malone? It's an enduring mystery that still haunts the Atlanta suburb of Stone Mountain. Downtown's Main Street seems idyllic, but they are the mean streets. Stone Mountain is said to be one of the most dangerous cities in Georgia. Was she an innocent victim who accidentally walked in on a home invasion in progress? Or was Honey silenced because she knew too much about a drug deal?
I think she walked in on a drug deal that went bad.
She was born Vanessa Malone, but everyone called her Honey.
How did she end up with the nickname Honey?
She actually told me Vanessa Marie was plain for her. I should have gave her a more exotic name. So she wanted to be called Honey.
Her mom, Flora, says Honey had a heart of gold.
She was actually the sweetest little girl you've ever met. I mean, she was the type that went and kissed everybody goodnight and never had a bedtime.
And she had some striking eyes.
Green eyes. And her eyes told everything about her. They would actually twinkle.
Those twinkling green eyes were the envy of her big sister, Cassandra.
She had beautiful eyes. She had green eyes. I was jealous.
What do you miss most about your sister?
I miss her little high energy self. Just her voice, how she is. I wish she was here so she can see my son.
Honey made friends easily, perhaps too easily.
Tell me about the group that your sister was hanging out with.
From what I hear, they were cool, but they also did extra activities at their house.
Those extra activities, alleged drug dealing, according to DeKalb County police officer Courtney Brown, one of the first detectives on the scene.
From my investigation, the apartment was very busy. People went in and out of the apartment. The traffic was of high volumes, so it could have been many, many more.
And when you say there was a lot of traffic in and out of the apartment, is that because they were selling drugs out of there?
Yes, ma'am.
Some of Honey's friends have criminal records with names like Spoon, Mercy, and Yak. That's Honey in the pink shirt filming a rap video with Spoon and his buddies.
She obviously got caught up in hanging out with the wrong crew. It was a dope house.
Is that all they sold in there?
We believe they sold marijuana and cocaine.
One night, Honey came home from her job at a dress store. She told her mom she was going out.
So you knew where Honey was going and what she was gonna do?
Well, she didn't really say where she was going. Then she came back in like 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And I'm like, oh, okay. She said, no, I just wanted you to know that I love you and I'll be right back.
But Honey never came right back. Those were the last words she would ever say to her mother.
She had to walk all the way around our place to come and tell me how much she loved me, and it's like, where is this coming from? I mean, not that she didn't say I love you all the time, but it was just weird. Something was just strange.
Moments later, cops believe Honey stumbled upon an armed robbery.
I believe it was a home invasion robbery with the main purpose to steal the drugs and the money out of that apartment.
Invasion may be an understatement. Honey's friends who were in the apartment told cops between 3 and 6 men with guns kicked down the door. They claim they were beaten and tied up with a belt and the cord of an electric razor and herded into the shower. And then gunshots pierced the night. Honey was shot once in the back, a second shot to the chest, the bullet plunging straight through her heart.
While the robbers were ransacking the apartment, I believe Honey walked in. And when she turned to leave, that's when she was shot.
When she turned to leave.
Yes.
So you think she was trying to get out of there when she was shot?
Yes. When you associate yourself with friends like that, you know, you can be brought down.
The gunman dragged Honey's body across the carpet, leaving that trail of blood. She was taken into the master bedroom and dumped face down on some dirty clothes in the closet.
But why shoot Honey?
Collateral damage. She saw more than what she needed to see. They were there to do a drug transaction, either buy some drugs or to sell a large quantity of drugs. While in the midst of doing that drug transaction, Honey walked in and she saw too much.
These are the actual crime scene photos, most too graphic for us to show you on national television. Those are the shell casings from the bullets that killed Honey. There are shoe prints on the front door and in the gravel, and outside, blood drops, but it was not Honey's blood.
We talked to a neighbor that saw the suspects leave the apartment. There was a confrontation in the parking lot, and he believes that one of the suspects was shot in the leg because his buddy was helping him into the car. We followed up with all the hospitals in the Atlanta metro area and surrounding counties. Nobody came in that night or the next day with a gunshot wound to the leg. So the suspect either traveled out of state or he just had it fixed by a neighborhood doctor.
Honey had a tattoo on her left hand that said blessed. But on the night the lights went out in Georgia, she wasn't. Honey Malone was as sweet as her name. The 18-year-old beauty never realized that when she went to a friend's apartment, she was walking into her grave.
She said everybody would know her name. She would be on the news.
But this isn't how anyone ever dreamed Honey would be front-page news.
How will you solve Honey's murder?
We need someone to come forward, someone who knows what happened.
But getting that someone to come forward has been a challenge for DeKalb County, Georgia police.
So who's this?
That's going to be
Spoon.
They've granted Crime Watch Daily rare access to the evidence in the hope our story will help solve this cold case.
Is this one of the cases that just bugs you?
I have a picture of Honey in my office, and I look at that picture every single day. I want this case closed.
And so does Honey's mom, Flora.
But who would want to kill Honey?
That is the million-dollar question because I can't think of anything. She's a 100-pound teenager. She didn't drive a car. She didn't have anything to steal. What could have she known?
Cops believe Honey was killed when she unwittingly walked in on an armed robbery of a suspected drug den. But Honey's family wonders, is there something more?
Why not kill all the witnesses? What's the difference? If you got one body on you, you might as well just take them all out.
Flora and Honey's sister Cassandra believe Honey was lured to the apartment to silence her.
Why don't you believe that she walked into a robbery?
I believe that they thought she knew something or saw something and was worried that she was gonna tell. She wouldn't just walk into a kicked-in door to see what happened. That's not her.
So you think this whole home invasion robbery theory is what?
A setup to make it look like it was a robbery so they can get off. And they're like, oh, she knows too much. We need to kill her. I really think this was a setup.
One troubling question, why was Honey's cell phone found far away from the murder scene?
We tracked her cell phone after the murder to a location about a half mile away. where it stayed there until it died.
So how did Honey's cell phone end up half a mile away?
It was stolen during the incident.
Why would they take her cell phone? They've already killed her. What do they need her cell phone for? Thinking that maybe she could call for help?
No, they're just easy to resell on the street.
But Honey's family doesn't buy that explanation. The unexplained mystery of the disappearing cell phone and the stories from the witnesses who say the gunman tied them up has sparked fresh speculation.
I don't think that the story that they gave the police is accurate.
They don't think so either.
You a thug. How you sell drugs, you got all these weapons, and you scared? You scared to untie yourself, and you scared you had to wait until these 3 to 6 men left before you untied yourself and the girl with you?
But Honey's alleged gangster friends, Yak and Mercy, the men who claim they were tied up, are not officially considered suspects or persons of interest, at least not yet.
I would say a main person of interest in this case would be Mercy. Based on the statements that I've reviewed and the evidence that I've looked at, he was very deep into the dope gang. It seems like he ran the business out of that house.
Did the drugs and the money belong to Mercy?
I believe so.
So Mercy probably knows who was out to get him.
Probably.
And that same person might be the person who killed Honey.
Probably.
Mercy was charged with theft by receiving stolen property and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to a year in jail. And Yak pleaded guilty to violating the Controlled Substances Act and tampering with evidence. Neither has been charged in connection with Honey's murder, and they haven't responded to our request for a comment. It seems that everyone has their theories about why Honey was killed, but theories alone don't solve murders. Hard evidence does. And now Crime Watch Daily can exclusively report a dramatic new development. Police tell us new evidence, a handgun recently seized in an unrelated arrest, could possibly lead to the killer.
Where did you find this new gun?
One of the people that identified as being a person of interest in this case was arrested with a firearm. It is a 9mm, which we had 9mm shell casings at the scene. So we're just hoping that it might match.
Really? So this could be a break in the case?
It could be a big break. We know who the gun belongs to, so if it comes back as a match, we're almost there.
Would this have been a bullet that killed Honey or a bullet that was found within that gun battle?
It was found within the gun battle, so we could associate that shell casing with being at the scene, but we don't know what exactly killed Honey.
And remember the Curry family, the good people who moved into the apartment of death?
I was always worried about who's gonna kick in my door.
They found a new home after they learned they moved into a murder house.
Once we found out that the stains were actually blood, we immediately called the leasing office. We told them we pulled up the fact that a murder happened in our apartment, and we asked them why no one had told us.
Unbelievably, under Georgia law, landlords don't have to reveal a murder has taken place unless you ask about a specific death.
Anyone who moves into an apartment, I feel, should do some research.
And as for Honey's family, the search for answers continues. They'll never rest until the killer or killers are behind bars.
You've been clutching a photo the whole time.
Yeah, all of her little photos. That's my baby sister. She was my first baby before my babies. I miss her so much.
There's a $50,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of Honey Malone's killer or killers. If you know anything, you can call anonymously to Crime Stoppers Atlanta at 1-404-577-TIPS.